We're going to go now to our NBC sister station in Miami, WTVJ, where they have been on the air and continue on the air now.
Not, but you are there.
They just lost the signal. As you can imagine, the storm is hitting the Miami area at this time, and the signal is coming in and out. We have it back. Let's listen in.
Far south as Dateland, or maybe even a little further south. So you're right. You're right in the middle of it. The somewhat good news is, based on our radar scan here, it looks like you should be seeing some decrease in the absolutely intense winds as they move inland where you are right now. It's going to take probably a little while yet, but you should see some decrease soon, but that will not be the end of it, and it will increase again.
It will increase again. Now, earlier when I was up there watching the satellite, of the storm. Are they still showing up there?
They're still showing up. They certainly are showing up, and that's why I can say that you will get a decrease here. The eye of the storm has completely moved ashore now, and it's in the Cutler Ridge Perrine area, and it's that band that we've talked about all along right where you are there. In fact, it looks like it may be coming close to maybe another 15 or 20 minutes, and you'll start to see that decrease. But there's at least 3 more bands to go of varying intensities. So anybody down there that still can hear us, don't think it's over by any means. And once again, in Broward, still the worst in Broward.
Right. Well, like I said, there really is surprising, because we're not talking about, when I say that signs are blowing down the street, I'm not just talking about the speed limit sign. We're talking about huge signs that maybe might be for interstate exits or something. There's just some huge stuff flying down the road here. So that's why, again, let me describe the scene to you. My legs are just up underneath the dash, and I'm sitting underneath in the well where you would normally sit, with my back just touched on the seat. Now, to my left is photographer Steve Schneider, who has somewhat of a disadvantage because he's about 6'5", and I'm only 5'5". So he couldn't get much lower than, I guess, his knees are up around the window, but his back is down, his head is down, and he's got his left arm cradled around his ear, just to protect him in the event that something were to come smashing.
And I take it, Kerry, you're on a cellular phone. I tell you, we need to run here, but please stay in touch with us and stay hunkered down under there and give it a little while here to go on by, at least to a lull. Let me just tell you real quickly that we're very, very concerned about points east of you, immediately east of you, out Sunset Road. I hesitate to ask you to head out that way. If, though, later on, when it comes time for you, we feel safe, that's where we are very, very concerned for what's going on out there.
Well, like so many of,
But Kerry, let me interrupt you, because we really do need to go, and we do want to check back with you later, but we do need to go on to something here.
Jose Diaz-Balart is standing by with some 911 information. Jose, you're at Dade Emergency Center, is that right?
That's correct, Kelly. And, you know, the information I've been hearing from Bryan Norcross is really spine-chilling after some of the calls that we've been getting here at the Rumor Control Center. But first, let me give some important information that the people here are asking me to please divulge. 911 is being swamped. So the operators are just being flooded with calls, and they're asking everyone who is listening or watching this to please not call 911 unless it is a life and death situation. Let me tell you why. You see, right now, no crews are being dispatched. Neither fire nor police crews are being dispatched because of the severity of the winds. If you call 911, all they're going to do is write down your report, and they're really going to have to wait until the winds die down before anything can happen. So unless it is really a life and death situation, they're asking you not to call because they are just getting flooded with calls. Another part of the county that is getting flooded with calls is the Rumor Control Hotline. And Brian, this is just some incredibly terrifying calls that we've been getting here, especially in the Cutler Ridge area. We've gotten at least 3 or 4 calls of people saying that they are in their bathrooms, they are on different kind of phones, some cellular and some not cellular. They're saying that parts of their roof are just actually being ripped out of their house. And not to speak of the windows, they're being blown out. Some callers have said that the sliding glass doors that they have, some with some kind of protection on them, have literally just blown out, and they are seeing debris flying through their house, or at least hearing it. Most of them, as I say, are in some kind of safety, but they're very concerned because their roof is actually being ripped out at different parts. That's some of the calls we're getting from the Cutler Ridge area, And Brian, if you want to talk a little bit about, to those people specifically, some say they have radios and are listening, specifically, you know, tell them that the worst is not over, because they are very, very concerned, and this is a very critical situation right here.
All right, you know, it's chilling that the things we just sat here and talked about a couple hours ago are happening in almost precise detail. Anyone in Cutler Ridge...
You're watching live coverage of Hurricane Andrew from our NBC sister station in Miami, WTVJ. Good morning, everyone. I'm Irene Mayer at Newswatch 8, of course, and I'm joined this morning by Bill Ratliff and Mary McDevitt on the anchor desk as we watch the progress of Hurricane Andrew.
But I just want to check in just to be sure that we're not missing something.
Right now, we're going to go back to listening to this live coverage from WTVJ.
Absolute crisis going on to the south of you, so let's check in with you.
We're kind of out of communication as far as that's concerned. The short version is that I was talking to one of the meteorologists. Dr. Sheets is rather busy right now. One of the meteorologists, he says we are right now at probably the peak of the worst part of this. And, of course, all of us here interested in how long it was going to last. And he said, let's see, about 5 minutes ago, he said probably about another half hour before we start feeling some relief from it.
Well, I was on the line with Dr. Sheets. I don't know if you were able to...
I was standing next to him when we hit the 152-mile-an-hour gust.
Right. They do not have access to the radar that we do, that anyone watching can see. And we can tell you now, and you might pass this along to them, that according to our Palm Beach radar, the eye is now ashore in Cutler Ridge, maybe reaching as far north as parts of Perrine, and that we believe that that core of most severe weather should be leaving you relatively shortly.
That'll be a relief here. Interestingly enough, Brian, there is a bar graph in here that keeps a running tally of the barometric pressure. It's normally a horizontal line, and in the past about an hour, you can see this thing, and it's just as if it fell off a cliff and dropped perhaps 3 or 4 inches on the scale. Now, I don't know what that scale is. We're all kind of watching it, and we're hoping that it starts back up pretty soon, because that means that we're past the worst.
Well, yeah, it should start up. I would be very surprised if it doesn't start up almost immediately, because the center of the storm has now passed you to the south. If you were to draw a line directly south from where you are, you would be past the center of the storm. So you should see improvement there soon, but you're still right on the edge of that core. And believe it or not, Bob, you have not seen the worst of this, according to our analysis of the radar here. The worst of it, we believe, is actually just south of you.
Remember your window demonstration, though, Brian. We can't imagine there are any more windows left on any other floors of this building. As you know, the Hurricane Center is the only floor of this building that has hurricane shutters. And we have lost a window on this floor, even with shutters.
Wow. Well, spectacular. All right, Bob, because we have...
Jerry Helfman.
Absolutely. We do have Jerry.
From South Miami. Jerry?
Brian?
Yes, Jerry.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jerry, we can hear you.
We're just near South Miami, Brian, on Granada Boulevard, a couple of blocks north of Sunset, just east of Cocoa Plum.
Uh-huh.
And you guys are our lifeline out there, but you're scaring us to death with what we're hearing. It feels like our door is going to blow off. Is it true that we're getting 150-mile-an-hour winds here?
At the Hurricane Center, the 150-mile-an-hour winds, 152-mile-per-hour gusts were recorded while we were on the line with them, as a matter of fact, and 138-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Now, we don't even know at the Hurricane Center if their wind equipment is even working, because they lost their radome down there.
Well, we're about a block away, I would say, from the Hurricane Center. And, you can hear the windows rattling, but quite frankly, making us more nervous than the windows, which all have shutters on them, is the front door, because it's shaking, and we've put chairs under the doorknob. Mm-hmm. And thank God all of our children are sleeping, because I know that they would be just scared to death.
Well, Jerry, the good news that we have for you is that the eye has come ashore, and you should be getting some relief. Now, just because you're going to get relief and it's going to improve there for a little while, we have at least 2, maybe 3, and conceivably even more bands of bad weather to come, but they should not be as bad as the main band that came through already. Now, but the other thing to say is that clearly out there we have an entire city full of massive debris. So the next time the wind picks up and starts blowing, it's going to have ever so much more debris to throw around, and the time after that, it'll be that much more.
Well, Brian, in this house that we're in, there's one bathroom that has about an 8-foot wall sort of surrounding a garden right outside of the bathroom with heavy sliding glass doors, and we looked outside of those doors because we felt...
You are listening to WTVJ in Miami. We are fortunate and able to pick up their signal. It is rough at times, as you're seeing. You're seeing a live tape requeue right now on the air, but this is really wonderful in the aspect that we're able to bring you the latest information. As you heard, and you're looking at Bryan Norcross, Tony Segreto, and then Kelly Craig to the right. They have been able to stay on the air. They are broadcasting from what appears to be a storage area in the studios there. As we have been saying, this is a pretty old building. WTVJ operates out of 3 or 4 buildings. There used to be a movie studio. Cinder block is the general structure, the structural nature of that building, but it was built so long ago that it does not surprise me that they've had to leave the set area. That is CNN you're looking at right now. Wind gusts of 152 miles an hour hit the building, knocking out its radar. And there was one that was even greater than that, Irene.
And this latest report on the wire, a wind gust of 164 miles an hour was clocked this morning at the Hurricane Center. And sustained winds of 118 miles an hour were also recorded. It is really powerful down there.
You know, I guess right now we got a real good idea of where the hurricane is. You can see the eye as it passes over what they're describing as the Cutler Ridge area, which is the Coral Gables area of Miami. What we don't know is the damage that has occurred there in that area. We can only assume that it's awful because of the density of the area, because of the nature of the buildings. If you heard before, it kind of boggles the imagination that one window at the National Hurricane Center was blown out, and that window was shuttered.
Right.
So it seems hard to believe the fury and the force of something like this. And while it looks like Miami is seeing the worst of this end, because it's, as you can see, it's now moving westward, the folks in Lee, Sarasota, and Collier counties are looking forward to the worst. And that